The White Bear Area Chamber of Commerce and On Location TV19 are proud to present Your Business Matters, dedicated to your business needs. The White Bear Area Chamber is a nonprofit business organization serving as an advocate for the White Bear area and its business community. Now here is the Executive Director of the White Bear Area Chamber and the host of Your Business Matters, Tom Snell.
I want to welcome everybody to the White Bear Area Chamber of Commerce program, Your Business Matters. And I'm pleased to have as my guest today Dr. Jason Schwietz, owner of Trinity Chiropractic. Dr. Schwietz has instituted a number of innovative community learning sessions on health and wellness issues. Thank you for joining me on Your Business Matters. Dr. Schwietz, thank you so much for coming to participate in our program today.
Well, Tom, I'd like to say thank you so much for having me and being a member of the Chamber of Commerce as well. That really means a lot to me.
Thank you so much. I'm going to start just by asking you just some brief biographical information about you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
my favorite subject,
to let
right?
people know about like where you came from, where you went to school, and where your office is located.
Okay, well thanks Tom. Yeah, I grew up in Forest Lake, Minnesota, so just north of here about 15 minutes, and graduated back in 2001. And after graduating, I went to the University of St. Thomas, and down there I went from 2001 to 2005, graduated, and then I went into chiropractic college right after that. So went from college, chiro school, went from 2005 to 2008.
Okay.
Yeah, now ever since that, I first got my first job working in a chiropractic office in Blaine, Minnesota, which I worked for about 3.5 years, and then I worked for another about 1.5 years in a Maple Grove location before opening up Trinity Chiropractic in Maplewood.
So that kind of gets to the next question about opening up your own business. So
Yeah.
first of all, you said you worked at a couple of chiropractic offices. When did you decide that you wanted to become a chiropractic doctor?
That'd actually be during my last year of college at St. Thomas. So I was going down the pre-med path like a lot of students do, and I realized that I wanted to get into the health field somehow, some way. And being an athlete actually at the time, I was a football player and a track runner as well. I actually suffered a hamstring injury and then ended up going and getting some rehab for it. And some of the care that we got is chiropractic as well. So I got to start shadowing some chiropractors, learning about what they did, more about it, which really piqued my interest. Followed by a tour of the school down in Bloomington, and I knew that was a place that I wanted to go.
Great, great. And then you set up your own practice a little over a year ago, isn't that right?
Yeah, we opened it just last year, so July 2013 is when Trinity opened its doors to the community. Yeah.
You know, the one thing that really caught my attention that is different from a lot of the other chiropractic doctors in and around the area is you have a number of health-related type programs that you offer that others just don't. And
Absolutely.
I'm interested to find out how you came up with that idea to make your practice a little bit more unique and some of the programs that you've had on health and wellness related issues.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think every chiropractor is different. There's a lot of different techniques or ways you can go about treating a patient. Now, for me, I've kind of used a more integrative approach where we're not going to just look at your spine. We want to look at other things too, like nutrition. We want to look at, are you exercising? We want to look at toxicity in your body, things of that nature. So we kind of go more of a whole body approach where we want to try to just figure out which one of those things can we help you out with to get you healthy and keep you healthy as well.
And the programs that you've offered, what are some of the programs that you've offered for the general public?
Sure, absolutely. Most of my patients that come in, they're coming in because of some sort of ache or pain. Maybe they've got headaches or back pain or neck issues or numbness and tingling. Most of the times they find their way into the office for those reasons. But once we get them through the door and we actually talk about what chiropractic really is, why the spine is so important to keep aligned, they start to kind of see a bigger picture. And also at that point we can help them out with other things in their life as well, such as the nutrition.
Okay, you said keep your spine aligned. Why is that important?
Absolutely. And that's a great question. Most of the time, people, we go through school and we know to brush our teeth, floss, you go
Right,
into the
right.
dentist your whole life.
Yep.
I'd say most of the time people go to the chiropractor, they're going to be in their 20s, 30s, 40s, or 50s. They've never seen one their entire life. Most of the time they come through the doors, they're going to have a lot of damage in their spine. And the reason why it's so important is that with your spine, it surrounds and protects the spinal cord and the nerves that come off your spine. And the nerves that come off your spinal cord go to every single thing inside of your body. So your heart, your lungs, your organs, your muscles, everything. So we want to make sure there's no damage on those nerves by having your spine out of alignment.
Okay, it's really interesting. I know that one of the spinal problems that a lot of people have are what they call sciatic, where you got a pinched nerve and then it goes down your leg and
Very common these
everything.
days.
And so in this country, typically, the answer to that is when it gets to be really painful is to get back surgery.
Sure.
And I read recently that the United States leads the world in the number of back surgeries. I think we perform more back surgeries in the United States than all of Europe
Wow.
and
Okay.
Canada combined.
Okay.
Like 90% more, or for every back surgery that's performed, for example, in England or Germany or France, we perform 9.
Wow.
And
That's a lot.
I'm
a lot of
wondering,
surgeries.
I want to talk about this because so many people have back issues.
Yep.
What are some of the things that people can do so that they don't end up going to surgery? And people that have had back surgery, what are some of the things that they can do that will protect them against hopefully going to get a second and a third surgery, which is quite common?
Yeah, that is very common, and that's just that staggering statistic of number of surgeries out there. Number one, it all comes down to prevention. So I would say the majority of these back surgeries are highly preventable if people just would take a little bit better care of their bodies and their spines. Now, some of us have really physically demanding jobs like construction, where you're bent over all day or picking up heavy things of that nature. These people, they should be taking a little bit better care and not ignoring the little signs. So generally, back pain, it can be very mild for people in the beginning stages. These people, they may take an aspirin or a Tylenol to try to, just ignore the pain, if you will. But the main reason why I urge that to not do that is just that little pains over time can turn into a bigger problem.
And let's say, for example, you've got a desk job.
Okay.
And you get to work at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. You come back at 5 o'clock at night, 6 o'clock at night. You have dinner, and then pretty soon it's 8, 9 o'clock, and it's about ready, to turn in. How do you do things for prevention when you have a schedule that is so full? And most people, that's a reality.
It's very true. I mean, you look at the American lifestyle, it's way more stressful than most other cultures. We work 2 jobs sometimes to pay the bills, and kids running around the sports and things like that. So I don't blame anybody for having such a, hard lifestyle and having to adapt to it. Number one thing I would say is if you have time at the end of the day, there are some very simple things that you can do. There's exercises that I actually prescribe to my patients that would really help out just to aid in that process to prevent a bigger problem from occurring. So lots of things can cause problems. For instance, if you're out working in the field all day and you come home and you're slouching on the couch, you may be, in a recliner in a bad position, you're going to put yourself in a more problematic point where your body could cause an injury.
So one thing that people have to really be concerned about how they sit down and how they relax.
Yeah, absolutely. So we always teach, I'm sure growing up you've heard it from your teachers or your parents about your posture, but posture really does matter a lot. We do look at posture. What are we doing? Are we, hairstylists are out with their hands all day like this, or, being at a computer, we bring our heads forward towards the screen. We do these things daily. And again, it's just like the daily little amounts that add up into a bigger problem.
And so if somebody comes to see you and you would give them that kind of advice on things that they can do, exercises maybe that they can do so they can prevent these problems from occurring?
Yep, absolutely, Tom. So one of the things that we do is once we find out where the damage is in the spine, if we see any type of damage, we'll give you very specific exercises. I like to call them prescription exercises because that's really what they are. We're going to tell you to do this or do that, to avoid this or avoid that as well. Being next door to a gym, I can tell you I have a lot of people that come over. We find out there's something going on with their back. That's mainly what's causing their problems. But they're over at the gym doing things that they should absolutely avoid doing. So we try to help people out, coach them on those things as well. I would say if somebody dedicated about 10 to 20 minutes a day, at nighttime preferably, to spinal care and some spinal exercises, they would see a lot of prevention.
That would really help then.
Really help out a lot. Yep, absolutely. So just some simple things too. Just like I always tell people, you go to the dentist, you know, they send you home with the tools. They give you the toothbrush, the toothpaste, the floss, use it. You come in and see a chiropractor like me, we're going to give you some exercises that you should be doing at home as well.
And I would imagine that you've had people that have come with these problems that you've been able to, and I'm not just saying you, I mean your profession has had people that have come in with these problems that you've been able to help resolve moving forward.
Absolutely, yep. So yeah, we take care of, you know, anything that comes through the door. We'll see, you know, headaches, neck pain, hip problems, back issues, numbness and tingling, sciatica pain, that stuff, all that.
And one of the reasons that I invited you to come to our television program today, moving to a little different part of the program, is the program that you've got really caught my attention. The one that's coming up on ways to prevent things like cancer. You're not saying you've got a cure, but like some prevention things that are out there that have been proven by not only the chiropractic community, but the medical community in general, things that you should do. And so I wanted to ask you information about the three biggest problems or health problems that Americans really have: diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. And I wanted to find out, like the program that you've got coming up, what are some of the things that you're going to be going over? And then also the other thing, heart disease and diabetes, and what can chiropractic, going to a chiropractor, how can that help?
Absolutely, those are great questions. Yeah, I mean, if you turn on the news today or you even look online, you'll see that these problems continue. I mean, they're just every year getting worse and worse. Diabetes on the rise, cancer on the rise, heart attacks on the rise, everything.
And I just read about diabetes. I mean, there's just soaring. The rates are really, really going up.
It keeps getting worse. You know, I think
and with younger people.
Yep, and obesity rate in America continues to climb, especially with kids as well. So, you know, we see those things, and I read online every day about how things are projected to get worse. So that's where I want to step in and help the community. I want to teach people that, hey, these are things we can prevent. These are things that we can actually do something about and not let that happen. We don't have to go down that path if you don't want to. So with the cancer workshop, one of the biggest things that I'm going to start out teaching the people that show up to that workshop, I'm going to teach them that cancer really isn't about genetics as much as we think it is. So I don't know if you've ever met anybody, but in my field, you know, I hear people all the time come in, you know, someone has cancer in their family. So I might ask them, like, why do you think that person has cancer? Well, almost 99% of the time they say, well, you know, I think it's in their family history, it's genetic, which is very common. But actually the research shows that it's not really about genes. In fact, like the CDC website, the American Cancer Society website, they all say that only 5 to maybe 10% of cancer is truly a genetic cause. So that's
an important thing for people to understand, that that's the case, because again, most people think that it's really almost all genetic.
They do, yeah, and I think that's, you know, maybe just kind of takes the blame off of the person, if you will. Like if they've been doing a lot of wrong things, it's easier to say it's just genetic than to look at maybe what really caused it. So that's what we want to get established with people, is like understand that it's not probably just genetics, it's probably a lifestyle problem as well. There's other things going on. So we'll cover those top 10 reasons why people get cancer. Number one is tobacco. You know,
I mean, everybody knows that. Yeah,
smoking. You know, that's
quit smoking.
Quit smoking. If you're smoking, quit, or find a way to quit somehow. But we also have other things too, like obesity. the stats are staggering.
Can that cause cancer, being obese?
Being obese is absolutely one of the main causes too they talk about. So again, there's problems hormonally when you're overweight. There's other problems metabolically when you're overweight. There's a lot of things. So again, when we find out that you're overweight, we got to lose that weight somehow. We got to get on an exercise program, which leads to another thing, physical inactivity. Children these days, parents these days, we're just not making time for the exercise.
That's right.
And the good news is that we have simple solutions that you can actually use and implement at school or at work. It doesn't require a membership at the gym to do at least 10 to 15 minutes of a good hard workout. That's really all you need. So that would be the recommendation. There's other things that we got to talk about as well, like food and nutrition, which is a huge problem in America.
What do you mean by that? It's food and nutrition being a huge problem in America. Explain that a little bit more in depth.
Well, not to pick on anybody, but like if we look around the area, there's a lot of fast food joints out there.
Right.
There's usually lines around the corner. So number one, we got to talk about what's the fuel that people are putting inside of their bodies every day, and is that fuel a good source? So I always tell people that our bodies are a lot like an expensive sports car. And so if you had a Ferrari type of car, you wouldn't be putting the 87 octane in it. You'd have to put the high grade, probably $8 a gallon racing gas in it. Same thing with our body. If you put in the bad foods and the junk foods, it's gonna break down your body faster as well. So some of the easiest steps I teach people about is looking at what are you putting in your body. Try to avoid things that are processed or avoid things that are high in sugar. Things of that nature, we got to avoid those.
And like fats and saturated fats maybe and things like that?
Absolutely. Now, there is a difference between the fat. There are good fats that we do emphasize, which we'll be talking about as well. So you do want to get fat in your body, but you do not want to be putting in bad or damaged fats.
Oh, there's different kinds of fats.
There are different classifications of a fat. And it is very important to be getting the good healthy fats, while at the same time trying to eliminate the bad.
But you will be talking about nutritional aspects too with your program. Okay.
Yep, absolutely. So we'll be trying to implement ways that people can, shop smarter at the stores, implement, so their kids can go to school with a more nutritious lunch, things of that nature.
And how about the heart disease?
Yes.
That's the other. I think that is a leading cause of death in this country.
Yeah, you're right.
Heart disease.
600,000 people die about every year from heart disease right now.
And are there things that you're going to have in your programs that can actually address issues like that, and what some of the culprits might be?
Yeah, with the workshop that we're doing next Saturday on October 11th, it's going to be mainly about cancer, because with October being Cancer Month, we wanted to focus on that.
All right.
But a lot of the stuff cross applies to heart disease as well. So I mean, if you are overweight, you're at risk for heart attack. If you're eating an unhealthy diet, you're at risk for heart attack. Things like that nature. So we will kind of cross apply these principles and these things that we'll be talking about, these topics.
Okay, well that sounds like a really lot of things that you're going to be doing then with these programs.
Yeah, we're excited. Every month I try to do something. Last month we did a vitamin D talk, because as the winter comes around, people's vitamin D levels drop significantly. So I actually partnered with Cub Foods.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the pharmacist over there, she came over and did blood draws on people to check their vitamin D levels. And now we find out
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's really been beneficial. Now we find out that some of my patients are low in D, so now we have to help them raise that.
That's wonderful.
Coming up. So
the other thing I wanted to ask before we conclude our interview here is your business. You started this business.
Yeah.
And that means you had to have money, and you had to start it. And what are some of the things that maybe even go beyond chiropractic issues for people that maybe are thinking about, gee, I'd like to look at starting my own business? What are some of the things that you think that people should watch out for when they go and try to establish something?
Absolutely. Number one thing I would say is, if you're in a profession and you know what you want to do, make sure you've worked a job in that profession for a few years. Learn the ins and outs, talk to the experts, talk to anybody you can.
So mentorship issues are important.
Very much so, yeah. I know a lot of people that are just coming out of chiropractic college hasn't really worked a real day in an office outside of an internship.
Yeah.
And they open up an office, they don't really understand what they're doing. There's a lot of things behind the doors, behind just seeing a patient making an adjustment, that you don't know, that unless you're getting that training, you're gonna have to try to figure it out as you go, which is really more problematic. So I would say mentor, get a mentor, have somebody, look up to, teach you these things, be able to call them if you need help, anything like that, that would really be beneficial.
Okay, that's a real interesting point. Now, somebody wants to get a hold of your office. I mean, it's going to be up on our information for the program, but just to reinforce that, how can they contact you?
Well, they can call me, the office line, 651-340-5169 anytime. We have a website, trinitychiropracticmaplewood.com. I'm on Facebook regularly on my business page trying to post things. Usually I go on to the news every day, look for a health topic that I want to discuss, kind of blog about it. Those are the best probably ways to get a hold of me. We're located right next to the LA Fitness in Maplewood, which seems to be a pretty easy location for most people to find. Just north of Macy's, right across the street from them.
And you're typically open. What are your hours that you're open?
Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays we have morning and afternoon hours. It's more of a split schedule, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays afternoons only. I do have a Saturday shift where I get in there and see people in the morning as well. So.
Okay, well, listen, I really appreciated you coming out
Tom,
for our
thank you so much.
program. And Dr. Schwietz, I wish you the best of luck moving forward with your programs. And again, we'll be publishing that on our website, so the people that are watching this program can go to the White Bear Area Chamber of Commerce website to get further information.
Well, I appreciate
that,
Tom.
Again, thank you very much for Your Business Matters.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
And thank you for joining me for this interview with Dr. Schwietz from Trinity Chiropractic. Here at the White Bear Area Chamber of Commerce, we seek to strengthen business through advocacy, networking, and education. Thanks for joining me.
You've been watching Your Business Matters. For more information on this program or the White Bear Area Chamber, visit www.whitebearchamber.com or call 651-429-8593.